Welcome to eLearning Talks, the show where e-learning and HR tech professionals stay sharp and learn without a screen. I am Angela, content writer and podcast manager at eLearning Industry.
And I'm Dimitra, social media and content specialist at eLearning Industry. In this episode, we explore new research revealing the AI expectation gap in learning technology, unpacking where L&D leaders' priorities align with or differ from what AI platform vendors are building, and what it means for the future of workplace learning.
Imagine you're standing in this really crowded car showroom. You're just looking to buy a reliable vehicle, something to get your team to work. But 42% of the sales reps are aggressively pushing this self-driving AI-powered hovercraft. Meanwhile, only 7.5% of the buyers on that lot even have a license to operate one, let alone an actual need for it.
That is quite the visual. Honestly, it's pretty accurate.
Well, welcome to the deep dive. Today, our mission is to unpack this incredibly insightful piece of research. It's the eLearning Industry exclusive benchmark report. We surveyed over 500 learning and development buyers, so the people actually purchasing software for their organizations, and we surveyed them alongside the tech vendors who are, building those platforms.
And because the researchers surveyed both sides of the market simultaneously, they captured this real-time snapshot of a massive collision in expectation.
Collision is definitely a right word for it.
It really is. The people building learning technology and the people buying it are just operating on completely different wavelengths right now.
And we are going to get right into the real story hiding behind the data today. Yeah. No dry statistics, I promise. Just the actual mechanics. You will definitely want to pull up the charts in this report before your next vendor meeting, just so you have the data in your back pocket. Keep a copy on your desktop, maybe drop one in your team's Slack channel, keep one on your tablet.
Good idea to have it handy.
We're going to do the heavy lifting of extracting the very best insights for you right now. That brings us back to that wild statistic I mentioned at the top. The report revealed that 42% of vendors have fully integrated AI into their platforms, but only 70.5% of L&D buyers have actually done the same.
Yeah, to understand the sheer scale of that gap, you really have to look at the structural forces driving the learning tech market right now. The researchers actually call this the AI expectation gap. So vendors are aggressively building for future demand because they're operating under immense pressure from investors and market analysts. They are in a total race to stay relevant in a tech ecosystem that, currently values AI above basically everything else.
Everything else, right. But the buyers are in a completely different reality.
Completely. The buyers are the ones actually writing the checks and managing human employees. So they're stuck on a much more grounded, practical question. They just want to know, does this new technology actually improve learning outcomes? And can we measure the business impact?
I mean, if the gap between 42% and 7.5% is that severe, there has to be a foundational misalignment in how these two groups even define a successful software platform. Before we look at any specific AI tools, we really need to understand the psychology driving the people building the tools versus the people using them.
Just look at how vendors are treating AI internally. For them, it is a massive strategic business initiative. The data shows that 68% of learning tech vendors are actively adding AI features. Nearly a quarter of them are completely restructuring their internal teams just to focus on AI. They're spinning up dedicated AI task forces, hiring really expensive specialist talent, and shifting their entire product roadmaps to accommodate large language models.
But if you look at the L&D buyers, their priorities haven't fundamentally changed just because a new technology entered the chat. According to the report, for 70% of L&D buyers, user experience is still the absolute top platform selection criterion. It ranked higher than any AI capability.
Which makes total sense when you think about it.
Right. They just want to know if the platform is intuitive for a busy employee who, maybe only has 20 minutes a week to dedicate to training. It sounds like vendors are trying to sell a car with this wild sci-fi dashboard that talks to you and brews coffee, but the buyers are just kicking the tires to see if the steering wheel works and if the seats are comfy.
The buyers are absolutely focused on the steering wheel, while the vendors are trying to hand them a spaceship manual. But the software market forces vendors to optimize for scalability and differentiation. In a crowded landscape, a vendor has to stand out. If they don't have flashy AI features to show off, they look outdated to the venture capitalists funding them.
and the industry analysts reviewing them.
But buyers are optimizing for a completely different survival metric. which is practical value and immediate impact inside their organizations. What's fascinating here is that AI is quickly becoming an expected capability rather than a primary differentiator. Buyers expect the AI to be there behind the scenes, sort of like power windows in a car.
Right.
Power windows aren't the main reason you buy the vehicle. You buy it because it's reliable.
Right. If buyers are so explicitly saying that their number one priority is a reliable, comfortable user experience, the vendor's behavior seems almost, self-destructive. It implies vendors are building these flashy tools for their investors, not their actual customers. And that dynamic becomes incredibly obvious when you look at the specific features being prioritized in the development pipeline. There is a chart in the report that maps what buyers want against what vendors are building, and it's a complete mismatch.
I'd say the feature priority disconnect is probably the most revealing part of the entire survey.
Totally. So when L&D buyers were asked number one most valued AI capability, 65% of them pointed to personalized learning. They're asking for systems that can analyze an employee's current skill set, understand their career trajectory, and adapt the training material to that specific individual. But only 44% of vendors are actively building or even planning for personalized learning. That leaves a massive portion of the market just ignoring the number one request of their target audience.
70% of vendors are making AI-generated content their leading development priority.
Put yourself in the shoes of an L&D professional trying to find tech that helps your unique team learn better. Why the absolute obsession with content generation from vendors? My hypothesis is that it's simply the path of least resistance. Large language models are incredibly good at spitting out text. It has to be significantly easier for a vendor's engineering team to build a machine that generate 100 average training modules than to build a complex adaptive algorithm that actually understands human learning patterns.
You are hitting on the fundamental difference between what looks impressive in a low-stakes sales demo versus what survives contact with a real corporate workflow. Content generation is highly visible and immediate. A vendor can sit in the boardroom, ask you for a topic, type a prompt into their software, and instantly generate a 12-page training module on, workplace safety or compliance.
It looks like absolute magic to a casual observer.
It does. It looks like magic. It scales infinitely. And as you mentioned, it leverages the most accessible capabilities of current AI models.
But it's a magic trick that solves a problem the buyer doesn't actually have. I can't imagine many L&D departments today are sitting around saying, oh, if only we had thousands of pages of generic machine-generated compliance training.
The real problem in corporate learning today is curation, not creation. Buyers are desperate for platforms that adapt to their highly specific industry requirements and just, cut through the noise.
Right. They want a system that recognizes that the new hire in accounting needs a completely different onboarding experience than the veteran manager in sales.
Exactly. They're asking for a personal tutor that adapts to how their people learn. Instead, the vendors are building a printing press that just dumps 1,000 generic textbooks on their desk.
That is such a great way to put it. A printing press versus a tutor.
And this flood of AI-generated material actively makes the curation problem worse. It buries the high-quality, culturally specific training materials an organization actually cares about under a mountain of synthesized text. If you are enjoying this conversation, you can visit elearningindustry.com/ebooks to discover a wide range of insightful guides and checklists and download them for free.
If I am an L&D buyer listening to this on my commute and I'm currently evaluating new platforms, this explains a lot of the frustration I'm probably feeling during vendor pitches. The vendor is showing off their fancy new printing press, and I'm just sitting there trying to figure out how to hire a tutor. That friction has to be affecting the actual purchasing process. How do buyers even educate themselves on the real value of these tools when the marketing is so disconnected from their reality?
Buyers are taking matters into their own hands. They have very strong preferences for how they want to evaluate AI tools, and it heavily leans toward pragmatism. According to the data, 65% of buyers favor self-paced online courses to understand AI, and 64% want hands-on practice.
Moving from general education to the actual software evaluation phase, that desire for hands-on proof only gets stronger.
Oh, definitely.
Like 57% of buyers said trial access is critical, and 54% want to see real-world use. They are explicitly telling vendors, look, don't just tell me this algorithm works. Let me load my own data into it and let me break it.
That's exactly it. That pragmatism is a defense mechanism. But vendors are still dropping the ball on providing the specific tools buyers need to survive the internal purchasing gauntlet. Vendors are heavily relying on video tours and generic use case studies. And, that might impress an L&D manager on day one, but that manager isn't the only one making the decision. The buying committee is the ultimate reality check for these platforms. Yet, only 17% of vendors are providing ROI calculators or benchmarking tools. And just 34% are leveraging verified customer reviews in their education materials. The vendors are leaving the L&D buyers completely unarmed when they go into those budget meetings. The buyer has to invent the financial justification from scratch because the vendor just hasn't done enough.
And clearly the vendors hadn't done the math on the ROI, and based on the report, they haven't even figured out their own pricing model. 42% of buyers state that their willingness to pay a premium for AI entirely depends on proven value. They are open to spending the money, but they demand proof. Meanwhile, 31% of vendors are charging for AI based on specific feature usage, while 24% are just throwing it into their basic plans to avoid looking obsolete. So what does this all mean? How does a buyer navigate a marketplace where the companies building the software have no cohesive strategy for how much it should even cost? Simply slapping the letters AI onto a product dashboard is officially over. Vendors who want to justify any kind of price tag have to provide hard evidence of measurable outcomes. The novelty is entirely worn off.
Okay, so if buyers don't care about the novelty anymore, they must be judging these platforms on something entirely different.
They are.
I'm guessing the old promise of, AI saves your admin team 50 hours a week.
Not anymore. The success metrics have shifted entirely toward the end user's experience. According to the survey, 65% of buyers measure the success of an AI implementation by client or learner feedback, and 58% measure it by user adoption rates. Shockingly, only 25% are measuring success based on internal cost or time savings.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting, because the entire historical pitch for enterprise automation have been about efficiency, right? You're cutting costs and saving time. But these buyers are essentially saying that time savings are totally irrelevant if the employees hate using the software.
Exactly.
If the AI printing press floods the system with mediocre content and the user experience is terrible, adoption just drops to zero. A tool that nobody uses doesn't save any time at all.
Adoption is the ultimate litmus test for value. If the learners reject the platform, the investment is a total loss. This fundamental truth brings the focus squarely back to the human beings interacting with these systems on a daily basis.
All the industry noise about automation, infinite content generation, and algorithms optimizing our workflows, it's so easy to assume we are heading toward a scenario where the technology just eclipses the need for human instruction entirely.
And people fear that.
Yeah. But reading through the organizational priorities in this data, that dystopian vision where algorithms replace coaches, it doesn't seem to be materializing at all.
As organizations integrate more AI to handle baseline tasks, uniquely human strengths are becoming the primary focus of workforce readiness programs. The report highlights a massive prioritization of skills that algorithms simply cannot replicate.
That the AI of handling the routine summarization and, generating the basic outlines, the skills in highest demand have to be the things machines are notoriously terrible at. I would imagine organizations are suddenly realizing how valuable it is to have employees who can navigate complex office politics or demonstrate empathy during a crisis or pivot strategies when a project is completely off the rails.
Spot on. The report specifically identifies critical thinking, adaptability, ethical reasoning, and emotional intelligence as the core focus areas for future training. The more an organization automates its routine processes, the more it relies on the judgment of the humans overseeing those processes. Like, a machine can generate a safety protocol, but it takes human emotional intelligence to communicate that protocol to a team undergoing a really stressful reorganization.
You really see that anxiety about human judgment reflected in the qualitative data from the report, too.
Oh, the open-ended responses.
Yeah, the open-ended responses where buyers could just write out their thoughts. The recurring theme was a deep concern that the vendor rush to implement AI is going to erode content quality and remove human oversight.
Which is a very valid fear.
It is. Buyers are terrified of launching a platform that hallucinates terrible advice to an employee with no human in the loop to catch the mistake before the damage is done.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, The defining metric for the next decade of learning technology isn't going to be feature density. L&D buyers are demanding total transparency about how these models are trained. They want strict accountability structures. They are demanding clear, fail-safe safeguards against inaccurate outputs.
They want to know what's under the hood.
The buyers are sending a unified message to the market. Artificial intelligence should serve as an amplifier for human learning, not a replacement for human mentorship, coaching, and interaction.
It's the difference between having an AI that acts as a tireless research assistant preparing a teacher for a class versus an AI that tries to replace the teacher entirely. The assistant makes the human more effective. The replacement just creates a sterile, untrustworthy environment. Building an assistant requires a fundamentally different, far more grounded design philosophy from these vendors.
It requires vendors to stop building for the sales demo and start building for the daily reality of the learner. The companies that recognize this shift, the ones actively working to close the expectation gap rather than just adding more flashy features, are the ones that will actually secure renewals and survive this market transition.
Looking back on the entire journey we've taken through this data today, the overarching narrative is clear. The learning technology market is violently shifting away from an era of wild, unchecked AI experimentation. The conversation is no longer about who has the longest list of generative tools. It is strictly about outcomes, intuitive user experiences, and proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that the technology solves a tangible human problem.
It is a market forced into rapid maturation by buyers who simply refuse to fund science projects anymore.
A completely necessary correction. Now, as a reminder, this entire analysis is drawn from the eLearning Industry Exclusive Benchmark Report 2026. As I mentioned earlier, you should absolutely go download a copy for your own reference. It is an incredibly thorough tool to have on hand when you find yourself sitting across from a vendor pitching a new platform. But before we wrap up today, I want to pass it back to you for one final thought based on where this is all heading.
Yeah, this raises an important question that I think anyone responsible for buying or implementing technology really needs to mull over. The report explicitly states that future competitive advantage for these vendors will rely entirely on demonstrating value and building trust. But think about the trajectory of software development. In a future, perhaps just 2 or 3 years from now, where every single vendor eventually achieves the exact same baseline AI capabilities, how will we even define trust in a learning platform? When the novelty is completely gone and the AI is ubiquitous, will trust be measured by how much the algorithm can autonomously do for us? Or will trust actually be measured by how easily we can turn the AI off?
Sometimes, no matter how immense the car is, you just need to grab the steering wheel and drive it yourself. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep asking the hard questions, and we will see you next time.
You've been listening to eLearning Talks, where we share practical insights for busy e-learning professionals. If you want to find out more, subscribe to our channel for more content.